Lucy here. Welcome. Glad to see you. Hi, hello, how are you? Okay, anyway, so I have no intention of making this a long video. I want this to be relatively short. So as a result, what is MAPPA doing with Yuri on Ice? Like seriously. How do you fumble a bag that badly? How do you fumble it that hard? Like, I need to know. I genuinely need to know. This needs to be studied. This needs to be studied in, like, schools. Because, like, oh my god. So, I'm assuming everybody here knows what Yuri on Ice is. For the maybe, one person that doesn't know what Yuri on Ice is. Here we go, let me tell you. Yuri on Ice is an anime that came out sometime in, like, 2016. I remember it came out in 2016 because a lot of stuff happened in my life in 2016. And I remember I was watching it when I was visiting family and playing Mystic Messenger. So, yeah, Yuri on Ice came out 2016. It was a sensation. Oh my god, it went crazy. It had people that didn't have enough money to go to Chanel stores going to Chanel stores in order to take a look at the lip balm that Victor was using. Like, Yuri on Ice is a ice skating anime that's also a BL about a character named Yuri, who is a professional ice skater and who's feeling really down in the dumps and really depressed. And the former, I guess, like #1 ice skater or whatever announces that he's not going to be skating and he's actually going to be Yuri's coach. The rest of the show is Yuri basically getting his groove back, like learning how to be more, what's it called? How to believe in himself more, how to be kinder to himself, along with the fact that the two of them are steadily falling in love over the course of the story. Or at least, like, they were already kind of in love with each other before the story even started, but neither of them, like, seemed to know the other's affections fully well, if that makes sense. So, like, yeah. Anyway, it's very cute. It's very sweet. It also got crazy popular, like crazy big, crazy popular. The anime came out in 2016. It ended sometime in late 2016. If I remember correctly, it ended sometime around like December-ish or something. I don't know. So Yuri on Ice is a cute show. It's a fun show. We were told. So they ended up releasing an OVA for Yuri on Ice, right? And the OVA was, standard OVA fare, really pretty animation. It had like these two side characters that like seemed to be having something maybe going on, and it was like it was just a cute little OVA, whatever. And then we get an announcement sometime around 2017, if I remember correctly, 2017, 2018. I think it was like a year after. They were like, oh, we might release a season 2, and then they were like, oh, actually, we're going to release a movie. The movie was going to be called Ice Adolescence. Okay, this is important. Ice Adolescence was supposed to be a movie focusing on Victor's backstory or whatever, how he ended up becoming the crown jewel of figure skating, right? So we're sitting here, we're waiting for the movie. They're all like, oh, Ice Adolescence is gonna come out sometime in 2019. And we're like, okay. And then 2019 rolls around and they're like, actually, in order to make a better movie, we're gonna push it back. And I'm like, okay, like, you see, okay, so, like, I am accustomed to waiting extended periods of times for things. Like, I was in the trenches, hoping and waiting and praying that Fruits Basket might get a second season or something, until the reboot was eventually, like, announced. And I also, I was one of those people that was, like, following the Ava rebuilds back when they first came out. Like, not fully. I followed them maybe around 2010 or so. And then when the third rebuild came out, I watched it and I was so excited. I had to wait years for that thing to come out on DVD here in the States. I had to wait so long for it to come out in the States. And it finally came out, right? And then I had to wait even longer. I had to wait even longer for Ava 4 to come out, like the 4th movie to come out. I'm used to waiting. I am completely used to. I am one of those people that when I become a fan of something, I'm going to follow that thing probably to the ends of the earth. Like, I don't really care. There aren't very many franchises that I am not at side, sort of in the back of my head waiting for them to come back, So, like, to me, it was all like, okay, we have to wait a little while longer for Ice Adolescence. Not a big deal, right? It's gonna come out eventually. Like, I mean, if Hideaki Anno can push back the 4th Ava movie forever, I think I could handle this. If the Sailor Moon Crystal has all that stuff pushed back, like the weird time zones and everything with Crystal. Like, they did Sailor Moon dirty, but whatever. I am fine with waiting, for the most part. So they announced, oh, Ice Adolescence is going to come out. Actually, we're pushing it back. And I'm like, okay, whatever. The pandemic happens. So I'm like, oh, okay, this probably isn't going to come out until after the pandemic. Probably, like, it looks like it might come out sometime 2021. Okay, that's cool. 2021, nothing. We don't really hear anything. I don't remember if there were any announcements made. All I kept hearing was, oh, we're going to have to wait a little bit. We're just trying to refine it. We're trying to make it perfect. We're trying to make it perfect. We don't hear very much for a while. And I'm all like, okay, So, is this ever coming out? And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hold out. I'm not going to, like, let go of hope for it, you know? Because, like, I didn't think for a little while that the final Ava movie was ever going to come out, but it came out. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna like be too like whatever about the Ice Adolescence. I'm just gonna hope and pray that it comes out. So I wait. And it gets announced literally today. No, not today, but technically today. Like middle of the night last night, as of the time of recording, it was announced Ice Adolescence not coming out. Actually, completely cancelled. No more Yuri on Ice stuff at all. Nothing. We're sorry. Bye-bye. And I'm like, okay. Okay, this is fine. This is chill. This is totally okay. I am happy with this. You see my little smile? All the time. I'm happy all the time. I'm like, okay. I'm not happy. I'm not. It gets canceled. And I'm sitting here, and everybody's talking about, oh, Yuri on Ice was canceled. And personally, poisonally, I have beef. Okay, so this is a section of the video. Feel free to click off, whatever, who cares. I have some, conspiracy theories. I straight up have some conspiracy theories about the studio, about the CEO, and about why Yuri on Ice never ended up getting continued. Okay. These are entirely things, big warning here. These are entirely things made up in my own head that I made up to make myself feel better, okay? I connected dots that probably don't exist and shouldn't be connected. So take this next section of my thing, grain of salt, all of this, grain of salt. It might not be legit. It probably isn't legit. This is entirely me just ranting and rambling and telling you the same stuff that I have been complaining to my friends low-key for years. Like, the few of my friends that know who the fuck MAPPA is and all that mess, I'm saying whatever. This is my personal conspiracy theory. Again, disclaimer, personal conspiracy. None of this has been proven true. I have no proof. This is all in my little noggin. Okay, so my conspiracy theory. Anyway, MAPPA Studio, right? MAPPA Studio. Made sometime, I don't know when. It seems like a lot of former animators from other studios ended up moving over, like the ones from 4 Degrees C. But whatever. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. History of MAPPA doesn't really matter fully. So, what ends up happening? MAPPA doesn't really have any big hits. For the most part, they're like kind of smaller. They're not like huge in the Western sphere. And as far as it comes to in Japan, I am not entirely sure if they were very well known or if they were just kind of a smaller, a little bit more niche kind of studio, you know? Because there are like studios that everybody knows about, even in Japan. Like Kyoto Animation, people go to Kyoto sometimes, I feel like, just to see Kyoto Animation. Like Kyoto Animation had like some stuff out of the ballpark back in the early 2000s. Like they're responsible for Haruhi. People forget how big Haruhi was when it came out. Like it had its own religion. Haruhi was huge. K-On! Huge. Lucky Star, to a certain extent, big, not as big as the others, and so on. So, like, Kyoto Animation, they've been doing the thing. They've been doing the damn thing, you know? KyoAni, huge. Studio MAPPA, on the scale of animation studios, they're not like a Studio Toei. They're not a KyoAni. They're not even a Bones. They're not even a Madhouse. They're not even a Gainax. They're, like, a little lower on the totem pole. And, like, you know what? That's fine. You know, there's, like, smaller anime studios all the time. Like, there are some anime studios that start out like teeny tiny and then they get bigger over time. There's some anime studios that need crowdfunding to get their stuff done. Former president, CEO, whatever, Studio MAPPA. I don't know how these things work. I don't care about corporate. Leaves. He's gone. He invites some new guy in. This new guy, whose name I cannot remember. I will probably put it up on screen somewhere here, like here or something. I don't know. But a new guy takes over Studio MAPPA, says that he wants to make Studio MAPPA a bigger studio. He has full intent to get them more money and stuff like that, and to make them a bigger, more well-known studio, and that he wants them to essentially grow, basically. Like that's his whole thing. He's like, we don't have any hits. Like, unlike the other studios usually have at least one hit. Even some of the unknown ones, they at least worked on something that was a hit at some point in time, you know? And they're all like, we haven't had any hits of our own. We're going to try to make a hit. So 2016 rolls around. He gets installed as the new CEO, the new president, whatever. And soon after, Yuri on Ice comes out. Huge, big bucks, crazy money. Thing prints its own money. Like, people were obsessed with it. People were buying crazy amounts of merch. They get crazy loyal fans because of this. They have people were going out and they were buying stuff from luxury department stores in order to specifically have something that one of the characters had in the show. Like, people were going out and they were hunting things down. They were trying to get merch. They wanted more of this show. And it was huge. It was big, right? It's like a guaranteed moneymaker right there. Like, it's like a Pokemon almost, where it's all like, you just got to make like little plushies. You just got to do whatever, like mix it figures. I don't care. Just do something with it.
Okay, here I am, back at it again. Recording on my phone again because I can't record on my computer. Once again, I apologize in advance if you hear weird noises or if there's a lot of like really bad like whatever going on. So, basically, while I was flipping through trying to find assets and things that I need for this video, I have come across a variety of questionable articles that I'm going to post screenshots of. And like what I found is that apparently, according to Studio MAPPA's CEO, they said, oh, Yuri on Ice was actually a flop. It didn't make us any money because like blah, 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 blah. So basically, like from what I could see, there was some sort of weird organization with how the money was organized, and MAPPA basically got like the shit under the stick and didn't make any money, right? But the thing is that like Yuri on Ice was a huge property and it was an anime original, right? So MAPPA owns the rights. If they're the right holder, wouldn't they get like at least a bare minimum sort of cut, like check? And if Yuri on Ice was making as much money as it seems like it was huge, like wouldn't they be making a certain amount of money? I know for a fact that they had something, because otherwise, how in the world did a lot of their animation end up looking the way that it did? How in the world did a lot of the other stuff end up looking the way that it did after Yuri on Ice? You know, like that doesn't really make any sense. Like they grew the studio. Like they have a larger studio. They hired more people. They did all this other stuff. Like if Yuri on Ice was a flop, then how did you get that money? Basically. Because I know for a fact, because like, some things just don't add up. Like, I understand if it turns out, oh, they got more money from, like, JJK, or, oh, they ended up getting more from, like, Banana Fish or something. But I know for a fact that they did not get that money from Banana Fish. And, like, bro, where did the money come from then? Like, where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Like, where is the Yuri on Ice money? Like, did you guys really not get any money from Yuri on Ice? If you guys didn't get any money from Yuri on Ice, then, like, why would you tease about the movie for so long? Why didn't you renegotiate a contract that would make you more money from Yuri on Ice then, like, for the movie or whatever? Because it's a huge, like, powder keg IP. Like, and if you guys were trying to negotiate another contract or something different with, like, Yuri on Ice or whatever, then why would you be negotiating the contract while the movie's under production? Why wouldn't you be handling that stuff before it was in production? Why wouldn't you be handling it before you release the trailer? Why wouldn't you be handling it before, like, any of the big announcements or whatever? Like, you could have made the announcement and been like, oh, hey, we're planning on making a possible Yuri on Ice movie, and then renegotiated the contract and then do the rest of the announcements later. Like, why would you set up a whole website for it? Why would you make a trailer? Why would you have all these release dates and all this other stuff planned out? Like, and again, the movie is rumored to have been in post-production. Why would you do all of that while essentially dumping money into something that you're just going to toss out anyway? You know, like you guys, again, I'm not a business person. I don't know how a lot of these things work, but like, why would you dump so much money into making something if it was never going to get released anyway? And like, why would you not have all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed if you're a big company that wants to work on like a big global stage? Like, why don't you have the due diligence to do the bare minimum and make sure that everything is set up properly before you start work on the project? Because like otherwise you just wasted all those animators' time. You just wasted all of the voice actors' time. If any of them voiced anything, you just wasted like all of the musicians' time. You just wasted like you just dumped money into the ground and set it on fire, essentially. Like, that is a waste. That is genuinely a waste of money. And then Chainsaw Man flops, and then you guys are all like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And we're in so much of a better position now than we were before. And it's like, oh my God, shut up. Like, no, you guys genuinely wasted a bunch of money on something that you didn't need to waste it on. Like, you guys didn't have to do all that just to like throw it away. MAPPA does not seem like they have the money to eat the cost. So then why would they do that? Legitimately, that was a horrible business decision. Like, in every way, shape, or form of thinking about it, it's a bad business decision. Like, you guys fumbled the bag so hard. Like, y'all fumbled the bag. And like, you can't come crying to us later if you're all like, we need money. Like, shut up. Like, at least we know when Studio Trigger comes to us being all like, we need money. Like, we know what they're going to use it for. Because like within a certain amount of time, they're like, here's this thing that we worked on, you know? It's like, come on, really? Really? But at the same time, it's also like, dude, seriously, like this studio is objectively doing better with their IPs than you. And like... And you guys are the ones that are like tooting your own horn. Like, okay. Like, oh my God, just mess.
And I started noticing something. A little while after Yuri on Ice came out. So there's been a little bit of a trend, roughly around maybe 2018, give or take, of announcements of older series that are going to be coming back or getting remade or things like that. Personally, I say that it started with when Devilman Crybaby was announced and was going to be coming out. Roughly around that same time, I noticed that a lot of other series were getting like reboots or sequels, or like they were getting new artwork made for them, like that new Rose of Versailles art. Later on, like Legend of the Galactic Heroes ended up getting a remake, I think. Banana Fish got animated. Here we go. This is where it starts. Older series start getting animated. Studio MAPPA picks up a couple of those older series. They pick up Dororo, old 60s, like OVA or something, never ended up getting made into a full series based off an old manga. And then they pick up Banana Fish. They make Banana Fish. I love it. I love Banana Fish. I love it so much. Why don't we have it on DVD or Blu-ray here in the States? I want a physical copy of it. Are you allergic to money? Anyway. No, these series come out. And Banana Fish is also kind of like a BL leaning series. It's not full BL because that's not like the main source of the plot. Studio MAPPA makes Banana Fish. And this is where my crazy conspiracy kicks in. Studio MAPPA gets crazy money, Yuri on Ice. Studio MAPPA, they start doing more stuff. They had Kakigurui or whatever in between like Yuri on Ice and Banana Fish that also got pretty decently big. And then they had Zombieland Saga. Zombieland Saga also got big. Sarazanmai. So they're continuing the little thing, right? But still no new stuff. And to be fair, like at this point in time, nobody thought that anything bad was going to happen, you know? Like nobody thought like, oh, they're never going to make the Yuri on Ice movie because it just barely got announced like a little bit ago. And it's like, oh, it's only been a year since announcement. It's probably going to take until like a little while. They were like, oh, it's going to come out in 2019. Everyone's like, okay, it'll probably come out in 2019. If it doesn't, it might come out a little later. That's totally cool. That's totally okay. I understand. Movies sometimes take a little while. This is where I feel like they dropped the ball. After Sarazanmai came out, right? That's a co-production. They did Dorohedoro. And I noticed a very specific shift. Okay, Dorohedoro was all 3D, if I remember correctly. And one of the big series that came out roughly around the same time that was also all 3D is Beastars by Studio Orange. Studio Orange ended up getting relatively big really quickly. All of a sudden, Studio MAPPA, Dorohedoro. And I'm like, okay, it's a little weird that they're deciding to go full like 3D with this. I'm not entirely sure Studio MAPPA really does full 3D stuff, right? So like that's a little weird, but you know, whatever. Then they released Listeners. Listeners is basically Eureka 7, but worse. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Why are they basically just ripping off Eureka 7, but worse? You know? Like, we already have Eureka 7. Studio Bones has been making, like, essentially rebuilds of Eureka 7. Like, we don't need another one. Why are you doing that? You know? It's a little weird. Not a huge deal. Whatever. All of a sudden, it gets announced. Studio MAPPA are picking up Attack on Titan from WIT. And it's like, okay, that's a little odd. Why are you guys picking up Attack on Titan? Like, if another studio was going to pick up Attack on Titan, I was fully expecting it to be one of the bigger players, not MAPPA. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, they want to pick up Attack on Titan. They want to hang on to that. They want to deal with that. That's up to them. That's their prerogative. They want to finish up Attack on Titan. Go ahead, finish it up, right? Then they announced they're getting Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a manga that recently started getting really big. And I'm like, okay. That's like 2 shows in a row that you're just suddenly picking up. You have a bunch of other stuff that you're doing. They do the 2nd season of Zombieland Saga. Kind of goes out with a whimper. They don't really say anything about it. Then they keep going with this. Right? Like, all of a sudden, they pick up Vinland Saga, again, from WIT. And it's like, why are you picking up Vinland Saga? Right? Why are you doing all of this? Then I noticed a bit of a shift in the way that general people perceived Studio MAPPA around the time Chainsaw Man came out. So Studio MAPPA released Chainsaw Man, right? Huge hit. Everybody knows Chainsaw Man, huge hit. Jujutsu Kaisen, huge hit. Attack on Titan, low-key prints money. But a lot of their big series are leaning very heavily towards shonen, seinen, like those kinds of series. And there are certain studios that seem to like focus on those. You know, like I associate certain studios specifically with like big shonen fare. So I'm like, okay, they want to be big shonen fare. The only thing is you start hearing all this other stuff about what's been going on. So Chainsaw Man comes out. They put it on the back burner for a little while. They were slowly working on it. It gets released. Personally, I noticed something when the Chainsaw Man anime came out. They put in crazy money into this. Like, it seems like they might have blown their entire studio budget on Chainsaw Man. Like, how do you have the money to do 12 different ending songs? Like 12, 13 different ending songs. That's a lot of money. You have to pay the labels. You have to pay the people making the songs. They have to write songs, sometimes specifically for the show. Like, I know for a fact that Maximum the Hormone song, it was written for Chainsaw. I know it is. They had to animate different ending themes in completely different styles with completely different animation directors for each ending. The animation was gorgeous. It was very pretty. How much money did it cost? It was a lot. You can tell just by looking at it. They spent a ton of money on it, right? It flopped. It flopped hard, dude. So, like, my thing is, right, Chainsaw Man, it comes out. I have my own personal issues with the Chainsaw Man anime. Not a big deal, whatever. I notice a lot of Westerners love it. Like, they love the Chainsaw Man anime. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I started noticing a lot of Japanese people don't seem to like it. Like, the Blu-ray sales are abysmal. Disgusting. Like, in the 100th percentile. And Bocchi the Rock, which came out that same season, selling at almost #1 consistently every week. Blu-ray DVD sales. And Bocchi the Rock was also a huge show. And it's like, there's Westerners watching it, but I know for a fact, whatever it is that Crunchyroll pays these studios, they pay them paltry. They're not getting a lot of money out of us, you know? Like, Westerners, like, you'll pay whatever for Crunchyroll, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the whatever it is that you're paying goes directly to the studio. Crunchyroll takes out however much they take out, and then they divide it amongst whoever, and then they give whatever it is left over to the studio, right? Like, we all know that. We all know that Crunchyroll doesn't really pay that well to the studios. They don't really, like, support studios. They're always like, watch it on Crunchyroll. Watch it officially. Support the studio. You guys don't really, though. Like, Netflix is paying the studios better than Crunchyroll probably is. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix cut a fat check to, like, Ano and them, and they cut a fat check to, like, Studio Trigger or whatever for, like, the series they did. They probably cut a fat check to Orange in order to get them to make, like, Beastars and all that. Like, Netflix is probably cutting checks. I don't think Crunchyroll is. Genuinely. I don't think Crunchyroll is. Because all of Crunchyroll stuff is split. And the thing is that recently there's been a trend of a lot of anime that get picked up not getting official Blu-ray DVD sales here in the US. And, like, I understand. Usually, Blu-ray DVD sales come out a little while after the dub comes out. Back in the day, it used to be we wouldn't get the Blu-ray DVDs until a year later, you know, after it comes out in Japan. But at least they had something to sort of recoup any cost they might have lost in Japan, you know? But a lot of these series aren't getting official Blu-ray DVD releases here in the States. Like, I wanted a Devilman Crybaby release real bad. Can't get one unless I want to pay over $300 in order to get the Japanese one. I want a Banana Fish DVD set real bad. Can't get one here in the States. Not even a dub. I want a Hoseki no Kuni. Can't get it. After the Rain. Can't get it. And then, like, Chainsaw Man. Can't get it. Bocchi the Rock. No clue. Like, it's not... There's not a lot of money coming from the Western side going straight to Japan. Like, there's more money in manga sales, I think, than in anime. Because, like, as much as you stream it on Crunchyroll and you're like, I'm supporting the studio, you're not really supporting the studio that well. Like, you were probably supporting the studio better when you were paying for Funimation, but Funimation's dead and gone now, so, like, there goes that. High Dive probably pays the studios, at least a little bit, but, like, who knows? Nobody really uses High Dive, so it's like, whatever. Like, you see what I mean? They're not making a lot of money off of the Westerners. The Westerners loved it. Japanese did not. Blu-ray sales, bad. They lost money. They lost crazy amounts of money. And this is where I started to get really suspicious with the guy in charge of MAPPA. Because he releases a press response where he says something along the lines of, oh, Chainsaw Man blew our expectations out of the water. We made crazy levels of money. Blah, 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 blah. We definitely recouped everything. We made a profit. And it's like, those Blu-ray DVD sales are not saying that you made a profit. You're probably getting like you're probably getting like a few pennies from Crunchyroll, and you're trying to tell me that you made a profit. Okay, like, look, there's probably other stuff that I don't know. I'm just a dumb little girl on the internet. I am not part of these big kind of companies. I don't know how some of the money cut goes. I'm just a poor college student. Okay, I'm getting an arts degree. Like, I don't know how money works with these things, but I can tell you, according to my little noggin, they didn't make a lot. Okay. Chainsaw did not get them crazy levels of money, you know? Like, why is he lying like that? It's totally fine. He can literally just say, hey, Chainsaw Man didn't make as much as expected. Might go in a different direction for season 2. Cool. Move on. That's it. Right? Like, that's it. Like, he doesn't have to lie about it. He literally doesn't have to lie about it. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, that's suspicious. That's genuinely suspicious. I don't trust like that. Why is he saying this? I know for a fact that he did not make the level of money he's claiming he made. All of a sudden, we hear whispers, we hear rumors. Chainsaw Man director leaving MAPPA, opening his own studio. Something happened. I don't know what happened. I have no clue what happened. Between the director, between the CEO, between everybody else at Studio MAPPA, something happened. He left. Like, you don't leave to create your own studio unless there's something going on. Like, Imaishi probably could have stayed with Gainax if he wanted to. But he left. He made Trigger. Gainax ended up getting into some big other scandal because, like tax evasion or something. So, like, why did he leave? Why did he leave? Whatever. This is conjecture. Purely conjecture on my part. But dude suddenly leaves. And I'm smelling something. Okay? I am smelling something. And it does not smell good. It smells disgusting. Okay? So, like, we're getting this dude leaving. Gone. Not part of Studio MAPPA anymore. Chainsaw Man, we made so much money. No, you didn't. No, you did not. You did not make a lot of money. Then, all of a sudden, Chainsaw Man Season 2 They already announced it. All of a sudden, season 2 not happening. We're getting a movie. The last time season 2 was supposed to happen and it suddenly got turned into a movie was with Yuri on Ice. See what I'm putting down? Connecting the dots here? They announced a movie coming out at some point in time. No clue. I have no idea if the Chainsaw Man movies are going to happen, in all honesty. Frankly, I want Chainsaw Man to be swapped over to a completely different studio. But whatever. Whatever. That's my own personal gripes with Studio MAPPA. Then, we hear about the mistreatment that a lot of the people have been getting. They're getting paid like pennies for work that they should honestly be getting paid way better for. A lot of these people aren't sleeping. They're not eating right. They're barely getting any rest. They are overworking themselves to the bone. And MAPPA is forcing them to do it for Jujutsu Kaisen. And they're like, we're not making anything. We're not doing well. We need to expose what's going on. MAPPA starts sending out NDAs telling people to shut the fuck up. Something smells bad. Something smells nasty. And then, Studio MAPPA president, an interview with him gets released at some point in time. I don't have a full timeline, but the interview. They're all like, oh, so we wanted to make our mark and we want to become a huge studio. We want to compete with Kyoto Animation and with Ufotable. And that left a rancid taste in my mouth. Okay, you guys are a studio that, according to Google here, founded around 2011. Your first big break anime came out 2016. You couldn't even continue it. You didn't continue it. You're picking up all of these big shonen series, and the one that you were banking most of your money on, it looks like, flopped real hard. And instead of the one that literally prints money, you guys are ignoring your ice skating show in order to focus on all these shonen ones. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean by shaking it? What are you doing? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean you want to be as big as KyoAni and Ufotable? Because guess what? Ufotable, consistent, actually treat their staff pretty decently from what I can hear. They kind of pick something and then they go with it. They picked the Fate series and they ran with the Fate series. They wrung every last drop they could out of the Fate series. And they're doing the same thing with Demon Slayer. They're wringing every last drop they can out of Demon Slayer. Kyoto Animation, they had hit after hit after hit, back to back to back to back. They had Clannad, K-On, Haruhi, and then when they got something that worked, they kept going, baby. When Haruhi season 1 went really well, they released season 2. When season 2 wasn't received very well because of Endless 8, they apologized for Endless 8, made a movie to cover the next arc. And then they did K-On, season 2. K-On, season whatever. I don't even know if it got a season 3, but K-On got season 2. K-On gets movie. Then Free ends up becoming their big hit. Free is their own thing because Kyoto Animation started moving things around. They're paying their people well. There's multiple different things under the KyoAni umbrella now, and they're paying their people good. They're paying their people really well. They released Free. They wrung Free out, baby. Oh my god. Free has so many seasons. It has OVAs. It has movies. It has all this stuff. People were going to Australia. Again, it's similar to Yuri on Ice. They had the same kind of powder keg as MAPPA had with Yuri on Ice. The only difference is KyoAni actually kept going with it. They ran with it as far as they could. They took what they had and they ran. And they were running and running and running and they didn't stop. They did not stop. I don't even know if they're still making Free stuff right now, but I can tell you for a fact, KyoAni, they wrung Free out for all that it was worth. They got every last little dime out of it that they could, and then they funneled it back in to taking good care of the people that work for them, which made them want to make the next series even better, even prettier, even sweeter, even nicer. So then it just keeps going. It's like a machine. You feed your people well, they do a better job. They do a better job, you get more money. Use that money, feed your people well. You feed your people well, they do an even better job. It just keeps, it's a circle. It's a circle, and they cracked the code. They cracked it. They figured it out. Studio MAPPA wants the exact same thing, but they're not willing to follow the same code. They want to follow all the old stuff, like Tezuka Productions, like that production company that made Belladonna of Sadness and ended up going under. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't be paying these animators the way that you've been paying them and overworking them and forcing them to sign NDAs and then expect perfect products out of them, especially when you are purposefully paying attention to the big shonen series and you're treating Yuri on Ice like it's just a side little, like, whore that you can ignore, you know?
Okay. I don't know if this is too loud. I don't know if this is too soft. I don't know if my voice is going in and out. I'm recording this on my phone after I finished making the video, and while I'm editing, I came across something that made me go completely bonkers crazy, and I just wanted to put this in. So sorry for talking so fast. So basically, I came across something that said that the Yuri on Ice movie was in post-production. The movie was in post-production. What do you mean you're canceling a movie that's in post-production? That's the same as, like, them tossing out the like, Roadrunner versus Coyote movie. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The movie was almost finished. You guys were finishing up making it, and you go and you just throw the whole thing out? You're just like, no, you know what? We're not going to release it and throw it out. Like, what? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It would have printed you money. Why are you doing that? Are you allergic? Are you allergic to money? Do you hate gay people? Do you hate gay people? Is that why you're doing this? Like, I keep accidentally falling down some sort of weird MAPPA Yuri on Ice rabbit hole while I'm making this video. Like, I fully intended for this video to be like maybe 10 minutes long. I'm sorry. And something I wanted to mention, something I wanted to say, is that I found an old Yuri on Ice fan book a while back ago. I was flipping through some of the translations. In the fan book, it essentially says, via the creator of Yuri on Ice, that she got some sort of pushback when she was making Yuri on Ice. Like, she got some sort of pushback against, like, having the characters be gay, essentially. And that's the whole reason why the kiss was, like, censored. Not exactly censored, but, like, sort of censored. It was essentially that, like, either higher ups at the studio or, like, people from the, like, I don't, if it isn't higher ups in the studio, because she wasn't clear. She just said some sort of higher up, somebody above her, right? So I'm like, okay, well, it could be someone higher up in the studio. It could be the CEO. It could be the president. It could also be, like, somebody from the channel that they were going to be showing it on. Or it could be, like, advertisers that had, like, invested in it, or, like, investors and things like that, you know? So I don't want to put it all in MAPPA, you know? Like, if it doesn't track, it doesn't track, you know? But, like, she explicitly said that there was some sort of higher up there that said that they didn't want Yuri and Victor to kiss, and that's the whole reason why she didn't do it. And then I found some people discussing some possible rumors from an interview that she did. I'm trying my damnedest to find the interview right now, but Google is a piece of shit. So there was an interview that she did where she explicitly said that they were planning to do a season 2. Season 2 ended up getting canned because they wanted her not to show Yuri and Victor's relationship at all. They wanted her to just completely toss it out. And again, if it was a higher up at the studio, or if it was a higher up in the investors, or if it was someone like that, like, I'm not going to attribute it all to Studio MAPPA if it isn't all for Studio MAPPA. You know, if it's not the CEO, if it's not the president, then it's not on him. But again, it's kind of weird and it's kind of suspicious that she says, oh, we weren't allowed to show the kiss because of this reason. And then, like, oh, season 2 ended up getting canned because of essentially the exact same reason. And then the movie was being worked on, and all of a sudden the movie's getting canned. And it's like, Studio MAPPA, you made a name for yourself because of Yuri on Ice. Like, nobody really cared or knew who you were until Yuri on Ice came out, and you guys became a big, huge name in the industry. Right? Like, Yuri on Ice is the reason for your fame. Yuri on Ice is the reason why you've gotten all the opportunities that you've gotten. Like, you made your money off of the back of fujoshis and, like, gay people. And you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, well, we don't like fujoshis, fundashis, and gay people. We're just going to get rid of them. Like, okay. Like, bro, is that really when, again, like, you guys are totally fine with queerbaiting stuff with, like, Gojo and his little boyfriend or whatever. Like, you guys are totally fine, like, showing, like, kind of, like, stuff like that, like, kind of leans in a particular direction or has, like, this sort of thing. But, like, as soon as it's made explicit, you guys are like, this is too heat, we can't do it. Like, bro, seriously. Like, you guys back in the day, you guys made banana fish, literally, like a couple of years after Yuri on Ice. So you knew that it was something that you could capitalize on. You knew that it was something that would make you money. You knew that it was something that would interest you. And then all of a sudden, you guys just turn your back on the genre that made you big in the first place. Like, on one hand, it's like, okay, if it turns out it was like investors, it was somebody else doing it, then like whatever, it can't all be put on MAPPA. But at the same time, like, MAPPA, you could have renegotiated things. If you really never wanted to release the movie, you could have announced its cancellation years ago. Like, we wouldn't have been sitting here waiting forever. Like, you could have, like, just let somebody buy you out of your share of the IP or whatever. Like, if it was a collaboration with other people and other people had, like, had the ability to have the trademark or the IP or whatever, like, if you guys never wanted to do anything with the IP, you could have sold it. Like, you literally could have sold it to, like, another studio. You could have sold it to those higher-up investors or whatever, so then they could just shop it around to other studios and have them work on it. Like, and if you legitimately were in such a low position that maybe you even barely had the rights to the IP and you were just scraping by the skin of your teeth, sell it. Literally, it's worth so much more after it came out. You guys could have just made your money back by selling it, handed it off to somebody else, let somebody else handle it. Like, if you guys really genuinely didn't want to deal with it and you didn't want to make it, you could have done that. Why lead on the fan base for years that they're going to get a movie, that they're going to get this, that they're going to get that? Ooh, season 2 might be happening. Ooh, a movie might be happening. Ooh, this might be happening. That might be happening. Like, why? Why are you going to do all that if you have no plans to do anything with the IP anyway? Like, literally, just give it away. Give it to somebody who's actually going to use it. It makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me. Anyway, there's no dollars. There ain't even cents. Like, bro, what? Is it because you were mad? You were mad that Banana Fish didn't make you enough money? You were mad that you felt like you're like, oh, we don't want to take the gays' money anymore. Like, girl, shut up. Oh my god. No, a movie in post-production. Really? You're going to get rid of a movie that's in post-production? Seriously? Honestly? You're doing that? Okay. Whatever. Go ahead. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Whatever. Anyway.
Like, they're treating the big shonen shows like, oh baby, I love you. Let me pay for everything for you, blah 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 blah. And then your actual wife is sitting there and she's like, excuse me? Huh? Like, you know that scene in Shark Tale or whatever the fuck, where like Oscar's like talking to that chick and he's all like, ain't no one loved me when I was nobody. And it's like, I loved you back then and then now you're a piece of shit. Like,
at least she treats me like I'm somebody.
Yeah, but would she love you if you were nobody?
Nobody loved me when I was nobody.
I did. Before the money. And before the fame. Before the lie. To me, you were a somebody, Oscar, and now you're nothing. But a fake. A sham, a con. You're a joke.
That's literally Studio MAPPA right now. That's Studio MAPPA. I am sorry. I hold on to that. That is Studio MAPPA right now. Because, like, honey, sweetheart, I don't know how to tell you this, MAPPA, but, like, your reputation is in the dirt, girl. Like, man to man, me to whoever you are, CEO of Studio MAPPA, your reputation is nasty right now. It's rancid. Okay? And, like, everybody acted like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Shonen brain rot, I guess. Like, I like some shonen shows, but in all honesty, I kind of gave up on shonen a long time ago. Unless it's something that purposefully piques my interest, I, like, kind of ignore most of it. But, like, MAPPA had a favorite child. And their favorite child was all the shonen series. Just like how Bones has a favorite child. And Bones' favorite child is clearly Mob Psycho 100. Oh my god. No, nonetheless. So MAPPA, he's all like, I want to be just as big as Kill Annie, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, you can't be as big as Kill Annie with the way that you're treating your people. You can't be as big as Kill Annie by just jumping from series to series to series and hoping that something sticks. You can't be as big as Kill Annie or UFO Table by, like, behaving the way that you're behaving. And I'm sorry, but you're behaving nasty. You are. You're behaving nasty. And now they're all like, Chainsaw Man Season 2 gets turned into a movie. The movie will come out at some point in time. And it's like, oh, okay. They're dropping it just like Yuri on Ice, aren't they? It didn't make as much money as they wanted, so they're going to drop it like a baby in a dumpster. Like, they don't care. They don't care. Honestly, I hope Chainsaw Man gets picked up by, like, Madhouse. I think Madhouse would do a really good job with it, but, like, whatever. That's not my business. That's not my business. But, this is not my business. But, like, then they released Attack on Titan. Everybody's like, oh, the Attack on Titan ending, blah, 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 blah. And, like, the thing is Studio MAPPA, you guys had a series. It could have made you big bucks. You blew it off in order to focus on Big Shonen Fare number 576. And then you lost. You flopped. You lost crazy levels of money with Chainsaw Man that you put all this money into. And I honestly think part of the reason why they're like working some of the people so hard at MAPPA is because they're trying to recoup whatever it is that they lost with Chainsaw Man. Like, they're all like, we need to have the best possible animation that we have right now in order to make up for what Chainsaw Man lost. And it's like, baby, nobody cares about that. Like, guess what? Madoka Magica, when it came out, some of its animation was a little limited. Some of it looked a little wonky. They waited until the Blu-ray release and the movie releases to make it look all gorgeous and pretty. And it paid off. Madoka basically printed money for Studio Shaft, and they did really well. And guess what? You know what other series printed money for Studio Shaft? Monogatari. Like, those other studios, they pick something, like, if it gets big, they run with it. They run with it as far as they can. MAPPA completely blew off the series that could have made them so much bank. Like, they could have gotten so much notoriety if they just kept going with Yuri on Ice. If they just kept doing what they were already doing. But no, studio head, little Mr. CEO man, he got all greedy. He was all like, I don't want the money from, like, these people. I don't want the money from these people. I want the money from the big shonen guys. I want to be part of the big shonen wave. And it's like, okay, you got what you wanted and you lost what you had. And now, like, the people who were genuinely excited and hoping and praying and laughing and wanted Yuri on Ice, they're not going to get it. They're never going to get Yuri on Ice because of you people. And, like, honestly, I'm mad about it. I'm low-key mad about it. Because, like, as much as I kind of felt in my heart that they might never end up doing anything with Yuri on Ice, like, I genuinely thought that Yuri on Ice might end up getting put on the back burner, and it'll be one of those series where it's like, oh, we're making more, and then they never really do. Like, they might never cancel it. I thought that they would string everyone along for way longer. But at the same time, it's also like, dude, what are you doing? Like, how are you fumbling this hard? How are you taking L after L after L after L and you're not learning anything? You're just being stubborn and you're sticking to whatever it is that you want to stick to. And it's like, dude, seriously, like Studio MAPPA needs to get their shit in order. They need to get their shit together. Their CEO needs to figure out what direction it is that they want to go in. They need to, like, slow down on some of the productions that they're picking up. They need to actually figure out what direction it is that they want to go in and how it is that they want to consider this and how it is that they want to do this. Because when it comes down to it, they're treating it like a pump and dump. And I'm sorry, but an animation studio cannot be treated like a pump and dump unless you want your reputation to go down into the ground and unless you want nobody to watch any of your shows anymore. Like, as of right now, a lot of people are pissed at MAPPA and refusing to continue to watch their stuff. But there are some people who are still watching MAPPA stuff. But guess what? A lot of some of the big shonen stuff that they were doing before, they're over already. Attack on Titan, over. A lot of people already know how they treated the JJK people. I'm not entirely sure if anybody's really going to sit around and wait and be strung along for a Chainsaw Man movie that might never end up happening, the same way that Yuri on Ice fans were sitting and waiting. But they basically just completely cut out all the Yuri on Ice fans. So, whatever. Like, if MAPPA wants to keep doing this, if they want to keep going and going and going, that's on them. That's for them to do. I just wish it didn't have to happen to Yuri on Ice. I just wish it didn't have to happen, period. I just wish that they were a decent company that treated their people well and didn't focus only on money and bravado. Whatever. That was my conspiracy theory. So, like, I genuinely believe that MAPPA is just straight up allergic to money. My conspiracy theory is that MAPPA is having crazy levels of money issues because of how bad Chainsaw Man flopped, and that because of their bizarre obsession with like shonen instead of literally any and all other demographics of anime, that they're basically digging their own grave. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with them. Let's see what happens. Yuri on Ice deserved better. Yuri on Ice deserved so much better. It deserved... Oh my god. If Yuri on Ice was by Kill Annie or some other studio, it would have gotten treated so much better. It would have gotten treated like the baby girl it really is. But it didn't. It got picked up. It got done by MAPPA. So we all have to feel the pain of that decision. Moment of silence for Yuri on Ice. Okay, so that's my conspiracy theory. That's my thoughts and feelings on Studio MAPPA. That's my opinion! Oh my god. That's my opinion!
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
All gossip, no facts, whatever. Studio MAPPA, don't sue me. Please don't sue me. That's a joke. Anyway. So yeah, that's my thoughts on what happened with Yuri on Ice. How bad they fumbled it. Oh my god. And, yeah. Thanks so much for watching me complain about Studio MAPPA and, you know, go a little cuckoo for a little bit. Hope you had fun. I hope you had a good time. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Peace out.